Before I could get out of that hospital, Stephen came to me and told me that I was going to have and I had never considered having it. It was something that I just never dreamed of having. I wanted my baby with all my heart, and I was looking forward to having my baby. And I remember just telling him, no, that would not happen.
They're the best-selling American hard rock band of all time. Over 150 million records sold worldwide, 25 gold albums, 18 platinum. But behind the rock star glory and stadium anthems, there's a story so dark, so twisted, that it's finally bringing down an empire built on riffs and rebellion. SA allegations spanning decades, a farewell tour that ended in disaster, and a legacy now being erased from one of the world's most famous theme parks. This is the rise, fall, and reckoning of Aerosmith, and it's way darker than anyone imagined. Boston, Massachusetts, 1970. 5 young musicians with big dreams and even bigger egos come together to form a band. Steven Tyler, born Stephen Victor Tallarico on March 26, 1948, takes the mic as frontman. Joe Perry, born September 10, 1950, handles lead guitar. Tom Hamilton on bass, Joey Kramer on drums, and Ray Tabano on rhythm guitar, though Brad Whitford would soon replace him. They call themselves Aerosmith, a name pulled from a Harry Nilsson song, and they're about to change rock music forever.
We started out in small gyms. We avoided clubs like the plague. Right from the beginning, we wanted to get used to rooms that were at least bigger than the room at a club.
But before we get to the glory, let's talk about what was happening behind closed doors, because that's where the real story lives. It's 1973, and Aerosmith's debut album drops on January 5th. Coincidentally, that same day, Columbia Records released another debut from a future legend, Bruce Springsteen. 2 titans born on the same date. But while Springsteen would build a reputation on working-class authenticity, Aerosmith was already cultivating something far more dangerous. The early years weren't about overnight success. They were grinding, playing small clubs, perfecting that blues-infused hard rock sound that would define them. Then in 1975, everything changed. They released Toys in the Attic, and the single Walk This Way turned them into superstars. The hits kept coming: Sweet Emotion, Dream On, finally getting its due after initially flopping. They were unstoppable. By the late 70s, they were dubbed the Bad Boys from Boston. And that reputation wasn't just marketing, it was a warning. But here's where the darkness starts creeping in. Because while millions were buying their records and screaming their lyrics, Steven Tyler was allegedly doing something unforgivable.
In 1973, when Tyler was 25 years old, he met a 16-year-old girl named Julia Meisley,
also known as Julia Holcomb. According to a lawsuit filed in December 2022 under California's Child Victims Act, what happened next was a nightmare that lasted for 3 years.
Julia Meisley, formerly known as Julia Holcomb, claimed starting at 16, coercion of an abortion, and involuntary infamy by Tyler.
Julia alleges that Tyler groomed and manipulated her from the moment they met.
But it gets worse.
Something happened between the two of us. I went home with him. No one asked where I was. At my home, my supervision was just not there.
The lawsuit claims Tyler convinced Meisley's mother to grant him legal guardianship over her daughter.
Let that sink in. A rock star in his mid-20s obtaining legal custody of a teenage girl so he could take her on tour without interference.
A woman in the US is suing Aerosmith singer Steven Tyler, alleging the veteran musician had an illicit affair with her while she was a teenager. Julia Meisley.
The lawsuit states he promised to provide for her education and health care, but failed to follow through. Instead, she alleges he SA'd her repeatedly over those 3 years.
And when Meisley became pregnant with his child in 1975, she claims Tyler pressured her into having a termination of pregnancy.
And I was not willing to And I told him no. And we began to argue. He had lawyers there at the hospital.
Now here's the truly disturbing part. Tyler wrote about this relationship in his own 2011 memoir. He called her his teen bride and openly discussed obtaining custody papers. It was right there in black and white, and nobody did anything about it for over a decade. Tyler's defense? He claims the relationship was consensual and that his memoir is protected by free speech. His lawyers have fought to dismiss parts of the lawsuit, but the damage to his reputation is already catastrophic.
But Julia Meisley wasn't the only one. In November 2023, another woman came forward.
Jean Bellino filed a lawsuit in New York accusing Tyler of SA in 1975 when she was 17 years old. She claims Tyler groped and assaulted her twice in Manhattan, first in a phone booth, then at a hotel, while members of his entourage laughed, as if it was all just part of the rock and roll lifestyle. A federal judge dismissed Bellino's case in February 2024, ruling she had waited too long to sue under the applicable law. The judge stated the alleged conduct didn't meet the criteria for extending the statute of limitations. But dismissal doesn't mean it didn't happen. It means the legal window had closed. The late 70s and early 80s were brutal. The band members were deep into substance abuse, and it showed in their music and performances.
I must have snorted up all of Peru. To survive the 60s and the 70s, it's a miracle.
You think you could have been dead?
Oh, God, I was several times.
Commercial success dipped. Lineup changes happened. Joe Perry left in 1979 after a backstage brawl.
When I was walking back, he was on the side of the stage, and as I walked back, I gave him a hip check. And I really didn't plan on him going into the audience. I just wanted him to feel that.
Replaced by Jimmy Crespo, Brad Whitford split in 1981, with Rick Dufay stepping in. The original lineup seemed finished. But then came the comeback. Perry and Whitford returned in 1984, and the band members finally got clean in the mid-1980s after going to rehab. The late 80s saw them roar back with albums like Permanent Vacation and Pump, producing massive hits like Dude Looks Like a Lady, Angel, and Love in an Elevator. The 90s continued their resurgence. Crazy, Crying, Amazing, all featuring young Alicia Silverstone in iconic music videos. They became video stars, reaching a whole new generation. And then came I Don't Want to Miss a Thing in 1998, their only #1 hit on the Billboard Hot 100, featured in the blockbuster film Armageddon. In 2001, Aerosmith was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, cementing their status as legends. VH1 ranked them number 11 on their 100 greatest hard rock artists.
What can I say about those guys? Just thank God that they're around. Those guys, in my book, are American rock and roll royalty, and there's never been a better lead singer than Steven Tyler.
And number 79 on greatest artists of rock and roll. The accolades kept piling up. But internal tensions never fully disappeared. Tyler and Perry, dubbed the Toxic Twins during their drug days, continued having public feuds. In 2009, rumors swirled that Tyler might leave the band, with whispers of Aerosmith continuing with a different singer. The drama was constant. Tyler's commitment to the band also came under fire from bandmates who felt he wasn't as engaged as he should be. There were long-standing disagreements over musical direction. Perry wanted to return to their 70s hard rock roots, while Tyler leaned toward more pop-friendly material. The creative tension that once fueled their best work was now just tension. In 2020, drummer Joey Kramer filed a lawsuit after being excluded from performing at Grammy Awards ceremonies and the band's 50th anniversary performance at the MusiCares Person of the Year Gala.
Smith, longtime drummer Joey Kramer is suing his bandmates. He claims the band is unfairly preventing him from performing with them Sunday night at the Grammys.
He claimed he was kept out despite being healthy and ready to perform. The band argued he hadn't been rehearsing with them. More public drama, more dirty laundry. Then came 2023, and what was supposed to be their triumphant final chapter turned into a disaster. Aerosmith announced their Peace Out farewell tour, one last victory lap for the legends. Fans were ecstatic. Tickets sold out. This was it, the final goodbye from one of rock's greatest bands. But in September 2023, disaster struck. Steven Tyler suffered a vocal cord injury during a performance, forcing the band to postpone tour dates. Fans hoped it was temporary. It wasn't. Medical evaluations revealed Tyler's vocal cords wouldn't fully recover. The damage was too severe. In August 2024, Aerosmith made the devastating announcement. The farewell tour was canceled. They would never perform together again. It was a heartbreaking end to a 54-year career. But given everything else swirling around Tyler, some wondered if the injury was the real reason or just a convenient exit. And then came the final blow. In 2025, Disney announced they were replacing the Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith at Disney's Hollywood Studios with a Muppets-themed attraction. Disney didn't explicitly state why, but the timing spoke volumes. The allegations against Tyler had become too toxic, and Disney wanted distance. That ride, with its 6,936 marbles filling the double-door entrance, had been a monument to Aerosmith's cultural impact. Now it's being erased, replaced by felt puppets. So where does Aerosmith stand today? Steven Tyler, whose estimated net worth is around $150 million, built on decades of record sales, tours, and royalties. Joe Perry is worth approximately $140 million. The band holds the record for most total certifications by an American band and is tied for most multi-platinum albums. They've earned more money from the 2008 video game Guitar Hero Aerosmith than from any single album, a bizarre footnote in their legacy.
If Guitar Hero is your game, then you're gonna lose your brain.
But money doesn't erase history. Those gold and platinum albums don't absolve the allegations. The Hall of Fame induction doesn't make the lawsuits disappear. Aerosmith gave us anthems that define generations. They were pioneers, rule breakers, and undeniable talents. But they were also, allegedly, predators hiding behind rock star privilege. They were a band plagued by drugs, ego clashes, and toxic behavior that went unchecked for too long. The bad boys from Boston lived up to their name in the worst possible ways. And now, as their touring days end and their legacy gets scrubbed from theme parks, we're left wondering how many more stories are still buried beneath the stadium lights and platinum records. The reckoning isn't just about Steven Tyler. It's about an entire industry that enabled, protected, and profited from behavior that destroyed lives. It's about fans who worshipped artists without knowing or caring about the damage they caused off stage. Aerosmith's music will survive. Those songs are embedded in rock history. But their story serves as a brutal reminder that talent doesn't excuse harm, that fame isn't a shield against accountability, and that sometimes the legends we built pedestals for don't deserve to stand on them. If this story shook you the way it should, share your thoughts below. And if you want more deep dives into the icons whose legacies are more complicated than the headlines suggest, hit that subscribe button, because the truth doesn't stop here.